Hi, everybody, and welcome back to this week's edition of the New Variety Arts Show here on your public access station. You know, we do occasionally get a call from you out there that are watching the show, and we want to hear from more of you. Please call and let us know what you think of the show. If you're enjoying the guests, if you're learning something new, or if you just want more information, if you have a new idea, somebody that we haven't had on the show yet that you'd like to see interviewed here on the New Variety Arts, please call and let us know. That's the only way we know that you're watching. There are no ratings services for public access, so it's very hard to tell who's watching and who isn't unless you call and let us know. Now, the New Variety Arts Show spotlights variety arts entertainers like clowns, mimes, jugglers, magicians, hypnotists, psychics, belly dancers. We're going to have them all here before this show is over. And right now, we want to introduce you to our musical director, Van Corrigan. Van?
Howdy, Brad.
Thantle for being here once again.
What would you like to see on the show? Maybe there's one out there and they'll call up and...
let's see. We've had a little bit of everything on the show. Yeah. We haven't had a puppeteer yet. We maybe would like to have a puppeteer and a ventriloquist. We haven't had a ventriloquist yet. Right. So we hope to. We're working on that. So I love that tie.
Wolf, yeah, thanks.
Yes.
I have a wolf at home. So
oh, you do?
Yeah, collect wolves.
Very nice, very nice. Well, imagine, Van, trying to communicate without speech. That would be pretty difficult, don't you think?
Yeah, even wolves howl.
You have to communicate ideas and subtlety and nuance, and to try to do it without speech. And that's what our guest today is here about. He is a professional mime. He's also an actor. He's a professor. He is an incredibly talented gentleman, and we're going to get a chance to meet and talk to him. And we have some footage of him performing live. I'm not sure exactly where it takes place, but we'll find that out a little bit later. And it's a little piece of what he does as a mime. So watch closely your televisions and enjoy the mime artistry of David Barker. That was some powerful communicating going on there. That's what I was talking about, Van, communicating without words. Our guest is mime artist David Barker. David, welcome. Thank you for being here.
It's great to be here, Brett.
You and I have worked together on a number of occasions, and you and I have a little bit in common. We're going to get into that a little bit later. We both create illusions.
Right.
And we'll talk about that a little bit later, but I want these folks to know what an incredibly talented person you are. You are the Associate Professor of Theater at Arizona State University in Tempe and head of the acting program, which means you're not as well paid as the football coach.
Not quite,
but
not the new one.
but quite rewarding nonetheless. And you are also the founding director, I believe, of the Aurora Mime Theater, and you are now a guest artist with that group. And the Aurora Mime Theater, I believe, makes its home at the Herberger Theater in downtown
They're the
Phoenix.
resident mime company at the Herberger.
At the Herberger Theater in downtown Phoenix. Well, I'm already jealous because I want to do my show at the Herberger sometime. That's
it's a beautiful space.
It's the ambiance is so terrific. Well, let's talk about mime, and it relates to so many different things, and that's what I want to bring out in the show today. First of all, I think that probably the popular conception of mime are these annoying little people that run up to you at a cocktail party or on the wharf in San Francisco and do something completely obnoxious that nobody understands, and then they disappear into the night, and you wonder where these people came from and what on earth are they doing. So mime has gotten kind of a bad rap, and I think that maybe we have a chance here to clear up the record. Obviously, good mime versus mime performed poorly is just as detrimental as bad magic is performed to good magic when people see it. So there is a difference. Why don't you clear that up for us? Really, describe to us the art of mime, how it got started, and what its foundations are, and how it relates to theater.
Okay, well, that's a lot of questions. I'll try to tackle one at a time. Mime is nonverbal communication, so anything that we do with our bodies, any way that we express ourselves without speaking, we can call mime. And so in that respect, it's been with us since the beginning of civilization. We know that cavemen reenacted hunts around campfires in order to show the rest of the tribe what happened out in the field. And then there were...
this was obviously before CNN.
Long before Ted Turner, long before CNN. And then mime had surfaced throughout various cultures, Greek drama, festivals used mimes, and then there was a golden age of mime during the Italian Renaissance, the Commedia dell'arte. There was a proliferation of the silent art during the golden era of the silent film. Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Laurel and Hardy, Harold Lloyd made mime a specific, or found a specific niche for mime during the turn of the century. Bad mimes, as you were referring to a moment ago, unfortunately give the art form a stigma. And how do we get bad mimes? Well, we get bad mimes by people who don't have any training, any basis in technique, and they put white face on, wear black tights, and they go out on the street corner and, as you said, annoy people.
And pass the hat for money.
And pass the hat for money and expect people to give them money after they've been annoyed. It's a stigma that's very difficult to shake, unfortunately. But the main difference between mime, a good mime and bad mime, is training. Most people who you see on the street that are bad don't have any training. They're play acting.
I think this is what needs to be pointed out, is that not just anybody can go out and play the piano. I mean, there are some natural geniuses that can just sit down and play, but generally it takes training. The same with magic or ventriloquism or juggling. You have to have that study, that practice, and that rehearsal.
Absolutely.
To learn what you're doing. And yours is a very specific art, and there are very specific techniques to what you do. It isn't just a mishmash of, oh, try this and, oh, pantomime that. Now, people play charades, and that's a form of pantomime.
Sure.
But this is charades to the nth degree, I would think, where every move is planned and every muscle has to be in the right place at the right time. Is there a difference between mime and pantomime?
The $64,000 question. There is a difference, but it depends on who you talk to, what answer you're going to get. My version of the difference between mime and pantomime is that mime is nonverbal communication. Any basic movement that conveys an idea or a thought, whereas pantomime is telling a story without speaking.
I see.
Is silent storytelling, so to speak.
Yeah. You know, one of my heroes when I was growing up was Red Skelton. That's somebody that I looked up to, and
Right.
he is an exponent of the art of pantomime. Did you have heroes when you were growing up that in this area?
Oh, sure. Well, I did not get involved in mime until my late teens, early 20s. So at that time, though, I began to study the work of Charlie Chaplin. I was influenced by Momenchance, by Claude Kipnis, by Marcel Marceau, and
I have all his records, by the way.
oh, he made one record, actually.
He did make a record.
Which is just
yeah.
a series of applause and laughs and guffaws. But I'm influenced by dancers. I'm influenced by actors, and so I really can't point to one particular person.
Yeah. I know that you're involved in the production of a show right now as
Right.
we are taping in the middle of rehearsal. Can you tell us a little bit about that show? And are you acting in the show or pantomiming or what
No, it's a
role?
speaking role. The show is called Tropicana. It's a new play by a professor of playwriting at ASU, Gus Edwards, and it's about a fictional Caribbean island and a revolt or a revolution that takes place on the island, and I play one of the local merchants who's being run out of town by the revolutionary forces.
Gee, this sounds a lot like the movie Havana.
I didn't see Havana.
Oh, you didn't? Well,
No.
not many other people did either. That's why it's not around anymore.
But I have a speaking role in that show.
Define for us the difference now. What we saw in the clip, which, by the way, where was that taken?
That was done in Lompoc, California, 1982, with music by Scott Whitty. I should mention his name.
Well, certainly we want to give credit where credit is due. That is what I would say the more artistic part of mime. Now, you're using a mask and your body to convey a particular idea, a story, a feeling, evoke an emotion. And that is the more artistic side of mime. What you have been able to do as a performer is not only do that area of mime and do it very well, but you've also been able to translate your talent into a more, shall we say, entertaining medium. And can you define the difference? Where does one cross the line into the other, from art into ha-ha entertaining or
Yeah, it's a blurry line, but for academic purposes, we can separate the two. Art, in general, makes you confront reality and helps you to better understand life, whereas entertainment, on the other hand, helps you to escape reality and helps you to get away from problems and really doesn't offer any deep insights into the world, into reality, into life, whereas art does that.
But it must also reflect its own reality, and certainly there is humor in truth, or truth in humor.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there must be some basis of truth. Is mime too artistic for most people? Is it too artsy, do you think? Is that why it's hard for people to get a grip?
Well, I think if you're talking about an abstract style like I demonstrated on the tape a moment ago, I think that you have a very narrow audience for that. Marcel Marceau, he's brilliant. I think he's a genius at what he does, which is white-face pantomime. He was able to draw a worldwide audience to his particular style. But abstract, intense mime has a very narrow audience.
Well, let's try to help people a little bit. What would you like people to know about that would maybe, if they were to go, you know, when I see an opera and it's sung in another language that I don't understand, it's very hard for me to follow what's going on. It might as well be, you know, silent anyway, because I can't follow what's happening. So if somebody tells me what the story of the opera is, at least if I can't understand the words, I can get the gist of it. What would you tell people to help them enjoy mime art like that more?
Okay, well, the first thing is don't try to understand it. It's just like abstract painting. If you stand in front of an abstract painting in a museum and you say, what does it mean? I don't understand it. Then you're missing the point. With abstract art, you're supposed to watch it, look at it, and simply get from it whatever you want to get from it. There is a story that I tell my students about a particular sculpture about 30 feet high that was erected at ASU a few years ago. And it's an abstract piece, and it's a lot of primary colors and various shapes. And it doesn't look like anything in particular. And when it was up there, adults would pass by, and I would listen to their comments, and they would say, "What the heck is that? They paid X amount of dollars for that piece of junk." They couldn't. They tried to understand what it meant, and they missed the point. Then one day I brought my 5-year-old and 3-year-old to campus, and they hadn't been on campus for a while, and they saw this sculpture from a distance, and they stopped dead in their tracks, and they said, "Dad, what did they do?" And they started running toward this piece of work, and they got to it, and they celebrated around it by dancing around it, touching, laughing, enjoying it. Oddly, ironically enough, the piece of work is called celebration, and that is the way you need to enjoy any kind of abstract art.
So just appreciate it for what it is and get from it
And
what
if you
may.
and if it goes over your head or you don't understand it, so what? Yeah. You know, you don't need to be mad about that. But you do. It is a fine taste that you can cultivate for abstract, modern, postmodern art.
Right. Why is mime important to acting? Okay, maybe that's enough of a question there for you.
Fine, yeah. An actor only has one thing on stage that he can use to express himself with, and that is his body. Yes, we know the voice, but the voice is produced by the body. The voice is not something separate. So we only we always get back to the physical instrument as the primary means of expression for the actor. And because of that, mime, which is nonverbal communication, is so important.
That's terrific. And so when you teach your acting students, I presume that you rely heavily on physical characterization.
Yes.
To bring about a convincing performance.
Yes, I'm always trying to have my students find acting answers in their body, answers to emotion, imagination, and expression of character. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we want to leave enough time here for you to demonstrate a little bit of what
right.
you do. Now, I'm not sure what you have prepared, but a little bit later you promised you were going to try to work with me a little bit. I'm absolutely 2 left feet and
I know.
uncoordinated, but I do sleight of hand. I'll sit down sometime with you and teach you a card trick.
Okay.
But go ahead, and we're gonna stand up now. There we go, and we'll get these chairs out of the way to give you a little bit of room.
Terrific.
To perform in, and I don't know quite what you have. Would you like a little music with this?
No, not just yet. Let me just explain here what I'm going to do,
okay.
And then we can get into the music. I'm going to demonstrate a mime isolation scale to you, and
now we better define that isolation
yes, I will
scale.
do that.
Okay.
The most important exercise a mime can do is called an isolation, and that is moving one part of the body while the rest of the body is completely still. This way, the mime gets control over every part of his body and then can create characters, express emotion, tell stories, create illusions.
So this is like individual muscle aerobics.
You could look at it that way.
Okay.
Sure.
This takes a great deal of coordination. If you'd like to try it, stand up in front of your TV and follow along. See if you can do it.
And I'm going to have a musical accompaniment to this to help define the different parts of the body.
It's like a musical scale.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
5, 6, 7, 8. now what I'd like to do is show how these isolations can create different illusions.
I'm tired just looking at you. Okay. Now this is an illusion. Not what I do, but what a mime does. Hey, hey, get down from there. Oh no, look out, he's gonna jump.
And now...
Safe at last. That was very good, very good.
Thank you. I'd like
How
to
many
put-
floors up was that?
I didn't count. I guess about 16.
I was very dizzy just watching.
But now what I'd like to do is show how I can put these isolation moves together in order to create a character.
That's very tough work. While David is creating this character, this is something that you've done when we've worked together. It's called the
Right.
Robot Man. Is
You
that?
can call it Robot Man, you can call it the Mechanical Man, whatever. I really don't have a name for it, but I put the isolated moves together in order to create this character, which is very popular at parties.
Oh, very good. Well, let's see that, and then you're going to try to show me a little bit of how this is done. I don't have a sponge nose, though, but that's okay. I'll fake it. Uh-oh, he's winding down here. Wait a minute, we have to turn him back on again. Oh, he's saying goodbye. He's saying goodbye, folks. That's all from the Robot Man. That's great. And do people come up to you and try to interact with you when you do that? And,
Sure, yeah, it's a character that is very lovable.
Yeah. And you also have a hat that you wear with that sometimes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, top hat. Normally it's a tuxedo is what I'm dressed
okay.
in.
And the kids like this too, I know.
Oh yeah, the
'Cause
kids. Well, the kids don't understand if I'm real.
Oh, that's a very good illusion if they're
Yeah.
not sure. But your kids know you're real.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because if my dad came squeaking at me down the hallway, I think I'd get in bed right away.
Yes.
So you probably don't have too many discipline problems at home, just with the actors at the theater. Well, listen. Show me. Maybe we can. You can try to show me how.
Okay.
What's the easiest thing to do? Is it the walking illusion, or is it the robot?
The easiest thing to do.
Is for me to shut up and let you do it.
No. The imaginary wall.
Oh,
All right?
okay.
Mimes, for decades, have been doing this on
Get-
street corners.
Keep getting
Yeah.
locked in a box.
Right. Well, put your hands together like this, Brad.
Okay.
Right. Relax your fingers.
Okay.
There we go. Now press your knuckles through. There we
Okay.
go. And relax, and press, relax, and press. That movement right there. Dum, 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 dum. That's what you need for an imaginary flat surface.
Aha.
So you look in front of you. You have to use your imagination, Brad.
Oh, God,
Look in
I left
front
this
of you.
back in 3rd grade.
Look and pretend that there's a wall there,
Okay.
and with your relaxed hand, come forward and make contact. There we go.
Ah.
Release. Pull it away. Dum. That's it.
Oh, and maybe it goes down here.
Yeah. Work with your hands a little closer to
Oh,
your body.
okay.
You can
All
relax
right.
your arms a little bit more.
Okay, as we're exploring this wall, we're going to say goodbye, and I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank Van Corriton for being our musical director, and be sure and see David Barker at the Aurora Mime Theater or at ASU Productions, and tune in next week to the new Variety Arts Show and support variety arts in your community. Okay, here we go. Let's explore this wall here.